Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Clovis, special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by Truth and Triumph Ministries.
And welcome to Money Monday here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. I am Executive Pastor Tawana Grant, and we are glad to have you back with us. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, click that ring button. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like and share, and then go to YouTube and subscribe. We're so excited to have you with us. This is our lunchtime learning. We're continuing in our Money Monday series right now, playing to win. Both offensive and defensive money moves. We want to make sure that you're making bold financial strategies. We want to make you a fearless entrepreneur and make sure that you are thriving in your ministry. And so today we're going to be lighting a fire and making sure that you understand revenue goals and making sure that you don't burn out your resources. And so here today, we're in week 3 of Play to Win, and we're diving into the revenue blitz. We want to do aggressive growth without overreach. How do I grow without extending myself too far? We want to encourage you to buckle up and get ready because we're going to be talking about growth and we're going to make it happen, right? We're in the second quarter of our year. And so we're excited about what we've already accomplished. And so we want to just continue to share information for you to help you grow in all the lanes of your life, all of your vocations, all of the activities that you are gifted to do. How many know that we need information? And when we apply our information, that is truly power. And so we want to encourage you today, some of the highlights of what's occurring in the news. The Fed holds the rate steady. So there are no rate cuts, which means access to capital is still a little expensive. AI-driven consumer spending spikes. So Gen AI tools are making purchasing decisions faster and more personalized. So we see that even as we shop, we are being able to shop more effectively because of Gen AI is able to curtail and make a precision decision for us. It gives us the products and services based on our historical references. And so therefore, you're not really filtering through a whole lot of information. It's helping us go very quickly to the things that we have recently looked at or viewed. And so it has a history to understand what we need. So it's making it easier for us to make purchasing decisions. In the small business sentiments, it is rising slightly. So there's optimism that is returning. Hiring and inflation remain a top concern. So what does it mean to us? What does it mean to us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as ministry leaders? The cost of growth, meaning the capital for loans and credit remains high, so it's still high. ROI is king, so we won't always be looking. Yes, we might have to procure some things. Yes, we might have to spend money, but we want to make sure that what we are spending on is in our best interest so that we have a high return on our interest, our investment, what we put in. We want to be able to get a good ROI, good return on investment so that we make more than what we spent. We want to recognize implications for us that consumers are more decisive, but only if they have a clear and relevant reason to do so. So again, consumers, ourselves as consumers, we are looking for more information. We're making sure that our decisions are data-driven. That's where we're getting to the point. As we operate in our ministry, as we operate in our businesses, as we operate in our homes, the decisions we make need to be based on data, based on where we know is most beneficial, based on our analysis and our understanding and our discernment. And so we cannot move forward in things based on our emotions and our feelings. Everything that feels good isn't good for us. And so we have to be able to make those kind of decisions based on data so that what we do is clear and relevant for your business. Listen, if you're making a decision and it is not getting you closer to purpose, it is not getting you closer to your goals, that is not the right decision. And so we want to include that as we make understanding clarity, even with our teams. We have to hone in on that. Is it taking us closer to our goal? And if it's not, then we need to consider whether or not this is the right time and the right season to make that kind of move. Again, competition is rising again, especially online. So again, it's very easy to start up businesses, very easy to start up new tools and capabilities and services. And so competition is rising based on those who are coming online, excuse me, and using that type of forum. And so they have the ability to scale up quickly. And that's why we said, don't be afraid of technology. Leverage your team. Hire to your weakness, not to your strength. You don't need two of you. Hire someone who can help complement what you already bring to the table, who can help strengthen your vision, who can help. Don't be in fear. Don't be in fear, because we're not in competition. When you build a team, there's no reason to fear that they're going to come in and take over. You need to have communication. You need to have collaboration. You need to have engagement. And when you have the right kind of conversation, if you feel that it's happening, then you communicate. You make clear your expectations. You cannot expect what you don't inspect. So inspect and validate what you're feeling is true by asking questions, and make sure that there isn't any competition between you and others. Make sure that it's always a seamless move for the team. We're going forward as one. If you want to go fast, go along. But if you want to go far, go with your team. Take the team along, because that is help, that's strength. And so what some of the actions that you can take based on what we know today, right? And we know that things are changing. Everyday information is coming faster than it ever has before. And so we want to make sure that we are looking at today's information, right? We don't want to be stale. We don't want to have stale data. We want to be looking at what is available today. And so some of the things that you can do because of what we talked about already, again, continue to audit your current offers, continue to audit them. What am I offering? What services am I providing? Where can I leverage things that isn't being used today? And remove all the fluff, remove all the excess, remove the things that you don't need to do. Why? Because if you say yes to one thing, you have automatically said no to something else. We have a finite amount of time in our day. You have a finite amount of time and energy. And so you want to make sure that your time and your energy is being appropriately allocated. You want to make sure that it's going to the right thing that's going to give you the best return. And so we welcome you all. Welcome, Lady Virgo. Welcome to the show today. And so we want to continue to remind you that you are an asset. I don't want you to forget that. You are the leader, but know this, you are the asset. And so it's important that you take care of yourself and you take care of what you need to do to make sure that you're making the right decisions. So in that, you want to make sure that you're eliminating the fluff, even out of your schedule. If you go through your calendar, and I've done this recently, go through your calendar and the things that you're doing, if it's not on mission and if it's not on purpose, even rest needs to be allocated into your time. Even family time needs to be allocated in your time. But if you're doing a whole lot of other things that are not taking you closer to your goal, not taking you closer to your vision, not taking you closer and building the things that you need, strengthening your family, strengthening your ministry, strengthening your faith, strengthening your joy, strengthening the mission and vision. If you're not doing those things, then you need to trim. You need to reallocate. You need to refocus, and you need to reframe your workday. You need to reframe it so that it is getting the most out of you, so that you're putting the most into what you need to do. And so we want to encourage you to use AI-friendly items, AI-friendly software, because it can really simplify your life. It can make things easier. So make sure that you're doing that. Also, if you're using ads or email marketing, test AI optimized subject lines or call to actions this week. Test them out. See if that's going to work. See if it'll give you the clicks or the likes or the attention that you need. So make sure that you're looking into it. Make sure that you're checking that out because you can use AI to help you draw others to your products and services. Work smarter, not harder. That's what we want to do. We want to work smarter. Let some things work for us. So that you know this, you can be making money while you sleep. You can be enabling things while you are resting because you're using tools and techniques. You can set and schedule things. We're doing that a lot, even in our music ministry and media. Schedule so that things are happening so that you don't have to be right on point physically making it happen. You've taken care of it. So that gives you room to now have capacity to do something else. So we want to encourage you to make sure that you're looking at these things to make life more efficient. And when you are more efficient, guess what? You're more effective. You're more effective. You're more impactful. You can make things happen. And so we encourage you to do that. Welcome, Miss Ollie. We're glad to have you today. So we're so excited about the things that we're talking about today, because in point 2, we're going to talk about a defensive strategy. What can you do in defense? diversify, and lock in. Defense doesn't mean slow, it means strategic. I want you to understand that. Defense, we feel like offense, I got to run and run. When I'm on defense, I don't do all or nothing. No, defense doesn't mean slow. It means to be strategic. I am looking at how do I make things happen so that I protect what I already have? How do I create borders? How do I create boundaries? Listen, boundaries isn't punishment. They are protection. How do I craft this for the long term so that I am able to withstand as things change? As I move and migrate my business forward in this year, I recognize that our economic climate is significantly shifting. The landscape is moving. But how do I curtail myself in such a way that we can path forward? So some of the things you can do is segment some of your top 10 clients. Listen, you may not be able to help everybody at the same time. You can't do everything for everybody. But if you segment your top 10, this is a good way to protect. This is a defensive strategic move. Your top 10 clients, your top 10 voices, the top 10 people that use your products or services, the top 10 people that you can count on, the top 10 people that bring you revenue, the top 10 people that help in strength, the top 10 clients or organizations or even personnel that are helping you. How do I protect that revenue? How do I protect that source? Some of the things that you can do, again, is making sure I give them the attention that they need. Sometimes we're trying to take care of everybody, but listen, only the top 10 are solidifying your business. Oh my God, this is a strategic move. Only the top 10 are helping you. Why are you worrying about the 90? You have the top 10. When you're in a business, you have to move things along, but give special attention to things that are making work happen. And so you always are giving clientele as a whole attention, but you give specificity to those who are helping uphold, to the pillars, to those who give sustainability, to those who give stability to your mission and vision. We do that sometimes, and we err in that because we're trying to give a lot of attention, amen, to some things that are not yielding you your ROI, your return on investment. You're putting all the energy and all the strength in something that is not benefiting you. And so this is a strategic move for defense. How do I protect and make sure? How do I make sure I have retention on what I need? Sometimes we're trying to save stuff and it's not what you need. Lord have mercy. Sometimes we're trying to hold on to stuff and it's not making you better. It's depleting you. Oh my goodness. It is costing you a lot. And so we have to change our attention and move our focus to things that is going to take us forward. How do we move the needle? Sometimes we've locked in on great gains, and that is great. We want to look at the final picture, but how do you keep iteratively moving the needle forward? Because if you move, it's just like the turtle and the hare. You've heard that old saying, the turtle and the hare. The hare was a fast runner, but he spent a lot of time distracted. And over time, even though the turtle was slow, he kept making progress. Even though it didn't look like he was getting far, he kept making progress. And before you know it, he beat him. And so that's what I'm trying to say. In this type of market, in this kind of climate, make sure you're moving the needle. Make sure you're staying focused. Make sure you're moving things forward. Make sure you're forward thinking, because sometimes we can get distracted by the noise. Don't be distracted by the noise and what you're hearing. Make sure you are protecting what is necessary. So some of the things that you can do, again, looking at your segment, put your eyes on that 10% that is helping you move forward. Look at how do I retain them. Look at offers and packages to create more loyalty. What we call in the workplace, create more stickiness. How do they become more of a sticky client and more loyal to what we are doing? How do I offer them additional services and products that I can therefore make them a multi-stream client? How do I, maybe they came in using one of your products and services. Maybe they came in for one thing in your ministry, but now you have a wealth of other things and offerings that you can now give to other demographics. That's what we're trying to do. Move to other demographics so that you're now enabling others from another lane, from another category that you haven't tapped into, how you are touching them in a different way. Make sure you're perusing that, because that is a defensive strategy. That is how you build for sustainability, for stability, for generations to come, because you put foothold, you get rooted. you get roots in it. And so that's what you want to do in your organization. So you want to make sure, again, that you're looking at those top 10 on those main accounts, those main givers, those ones who are always on their posts, always making sure things happen. How do I make sure that I am connected and I'm providing them with what they need to grow and to move forward together? So now another one is our offensive strategy. So we talked about what can we do defensively, right? Using our technology, leveraging AI, creating a strategy so that we lock in on our top 10%. We want to make sure that we're giving the right attention, that we're giving the right retention for them to stay, give them a reason to stay. Give them the vision and the goal and the mission about why we're doing what we do. Give them the why. People join in and want to help when they know your why. And so make sure that we're doing that and we're making our terms for long term. We're making these understandings and clarity about where we're going. People sometimes become concerned because there's uncertainty and they're unsure about what we're doing. But if you're a leader, then you need to communicate where we're going. And so sometimes even in your business, with your sources, your partners and vendors, you can go back and look at some long-term contracts. How do I maybe this year, I just want to make sure that you are good about how we've operated together. And so if you decide that you want to stay with the organization, you want to stay and be our vendor, here's an opportunity for us to lock on, to add value. Not always a discount. You don't have to offer a discount. But how do we lock in so that we continue to add value to one another, right? And so even for ministry, how do we significantly support our membership and those who are giving so that there's an impactful way that they know that there's support? How do I reach out to you? How do I support you? How do I enable you? Through counseling, through other programs, through support, through mentorship. Oh my goodness. People want strength and help. And so there are other things that we can do to make it a well-rounded and meaningful, impactful relationship. The second thing we want to talk about today is your offensive strategy, okay? Because we talked about defensive. Defense doesn't mean slow. It means strategic. It means be strategic about what you're doing. Even in your home, be strategic about defense. How do I enable? How do I keep my eyesight? How do I keep my discernment aware about where we're going next? How do I enable us so that I'm moving forward? Some of you are operating with people who are not inclined to move quickly. Oh, yes. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Sometimes you are working with people. If you move them too fast, you're going to lose them. And so you have to operate from that capacity and dexterity and patience to give them information and then help them come along, okay? That doesn't mean you have to slow down in what you're doing behind the scenes, but you can help them and pace what you're doing so that as you give it to them, as you deliver it, as you give information, it is in a package so that they can consume it. You don't want to it's just like feeding the baby. You give them too much milk, it's coming back up. And so the same thing with your team and others that we communicate as a leader. Sometimes we have a lot of information, a lot of vision, a lot of forethought, where we're going, what we're going to do, what has been given unto us. But everybody can't handle all of that. Sometimes people are 5-gallon buckets. Sometimes they're 2-gallon buckets. Sometimes they're 1-gallon bucket and you're a 10-gallon bucket. You can't give them everything. You can't give them 10. They won't be able to hold it. You are anointed to hold it. You are anointed to be able to craft it and to bring it together. So our offensive strategy. Offense is about speed and precision. Oh, yes. Here's where you want to make sure that you are moving quickly. The offense is about speed and precision. You want to test quickly, spin smart, and convert fast. We call that sometimes in the marketplace, in the corporate marketplace, fail forward. How do I test quickly, meaning agile type, test it a little bit to see if it's valuable, see if it's reasonable, see if it's important to others to even procure. And then spend the money smartly on what you're going to do, and then convert fast. Move it quickly and convert it into revenue. And so here are just some tactics that you can use. One is to launch an MVP, minimum viable product. Most of you know about that. In 10 or less days, you want to test it at low cost. You don't want to go out and buy a lot of products or services. Even if you are at home, if you are in ministry, you don't want to go out and put everything you have into one thing. You want to make sure that you are testing it out, that you're using the product and services to the degree that you have an ability to assess. You want to use it just enough so that you can assess, is this going to be profitable? Is this going to move the needle? Is this going to move us forward? Is this going to create another channel or another stream of income? But you need enough data to be able to make that kind of decision. And so you want to test it at very low cost, the version that you have been given now as the next big idea. So all of us, we get a big idea, and you know what happened a lot of times? We sit on it. Because what we say in ourselves is that I got to spend a lot of money. I've got to spend a lot of time. It's going to take me a lot of effort. And if you go about it with that kind of mindset, you'll never get anything done. That's why you have to use SMART goals. You have to make it specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time box. You got to make it small enough that I can test it out, small enough that I can say, I can do this. Let me try it. Let me try it. Fail for it. Even if it doesn't work, I've tried it. I know that doesn't work. Listen, I've tried a lot of things in my life, and owning different businesses and working in the corporate marketplace, even in ministry. I've tried things and it didn't work. But you know what I did? I said, okay, you know what I learned? I learned that doesn't work. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't try something else. That just means I've tried that and that wasn't the right way. So sometimes you need to tweak it. Sometimes you need to reframe it altogether. But that's part of learning. We don't lose. We either win or we learn. And so you have to set your mindset to that specificity that I'm going after it to win. I'm going to reach my goal. I'm not moved when things don't happen in the timing I expect them to. I'm not going to be moved if things don't happen in the way that I expect them to. You've got to be able to pilot something and then see if it works or not to move it forward. Then also, another point that you can do as a tactical task is to pilot in partnership so that you don't carry all the weight of the expense. Look for a partner, a complementary business, or ministry. I'm thinking about bundling value. Think about bundle the value. How can we both win together? Whatever your goal is. If you're winning souls, if you're winning in your business, your product, if you're winning in your services, how can myself and another strategic partner, that's what I'm saying, how can I get another strategic partner real quick, come together, see if we can make something great to happen as a bundle value? Why? And then you can build a high conversion offer. Now that I tried it out, now that we see we can do this well together, or now that I see we can do this well as our own organization, now how do I take that information? How do I take that idea and be clear and move urgently and be specific to make a high conversion? I'm going to take it from pilot to production. I'm going to take it from idea to pilot to production, to putting it out in the marketplace so that I can make a quick return on my investment. Here's some examples, right? If you're a personal trainer, you want to launch a 2-week AI custom fitness challenge, maybe you do that. Maybe you put that out. Hey, I'm going to be online. Join me and see if it works. And then you can craft a whole program around it. As your online fitness challenge has been your pilot. And then you take the data, you take that data, and then you create what you want to be as a whole online package. And then you can have subscribers and you can have others who join. And so that's what I'm saying. We're talking about piloting it enough so that you get enough data to see how far this could go, partnering when you need to, and then launching. Another thing, if you're doing some other devotional or you're doing some book and you're doing some live, how do I now make it expansive so that I broadcast it to others and then I draw others into our ministry? You draw others into the work of the Lord. You draw other willing hands to be able to help expand out to the community. These are the things that we need to be thinking about when we want to try something new and to advance our purpose, to advance it. Small businesses, you can even think about bundling a service with a tax advisor. How can you and someone else, if you're doing a service that is complementary to tax or complementary to some other service, how can we bundle together and say, hey, let's do this for spring success? How can we do something for the spring? We're in spring season. You can come up with something that can be a creative idea, and people will say, hey, I needed that. This is the thing. You don't need everybody. You just need the people that are called for you. And so sometimes we feel like if I don't get 1,000 people, I haven't done well. No, if you have one person who decides to use and leverage your business, you start by one. You start by one. And you have to have that mindset that you're not even moved by the numbers. And so sometimes because we feel like, oh, it won't be a mass acceptance, or it won't be a, what do they call it? One of those fast things that go viral, because it doesn't do that. You may assume that you haven't done well or you haven't done any good. No, when you are trying to build, there's always a portion of that is in the process. And so sometimes even in you're starting something new and you're starting a new venture, you're starting a new channel of service, it is part of the process for you to iterate so that you push it out. You get a few people, you push it out again, you modify, you get data, you make it better, you enhance it, and then you continue to iterate as you move down the process so that you'll be able to have a great lunch. So some of the other things that you want to do is make sure you have a 90-day great experiment, right? If it doesn't get measured, it doesn't get mastered. You need to write that down. If you don't measure it, how can you master it? I have people say that all the time, that you can be critiquing and you can give positive feedback or constructive feedback. And sometimes people will feel like you're being judgmental or you're being picky. But when you do it fairly and equitably, based on whatever your policies, procedures are, or based on the word, if you're in ministry, how am I being judgmental when I'm using what I'm supposed to use to measure? Lord have mercy. When you are using what is given to measure, you cannot master what you don't measure. The process of growth is to say where I am and where I've been and where I'm going. That lets us know if you mastered it, because you know where you've been, you know where you are now, you know where you're going. How far are you from where you were to where you're going? You cannot master what you don't measure. And so if you are not accounting or equating the measurement, meaning the assessment, meaning to have a relook, have a revisit, let's go back and see where we didn't do so well and make correction measures. Otherwise, you'll keep failing in the same areas. You'll keep doing the same thing you've been doing and getting the same results if you don't iterate, if you don't improve, if you don't take the data from what you learned the last time and make it better. Can I say this too? Thank you so much, Holy God. Let me say this. You can even do well and iterate to better. Oh, yes. You can even do well. You need to write that down. You can even do well and iterate to better. I'm not in competition. I'm trying to be better today than I was yesterday. And that's the mindset that you have to have as a visionary and a leader. I'm trying to get somewhere better tomorrow than I am today. And so there's an iteration that has to come about even in our own personal growth. How can I do better? How can I get to the next stage? How can I move the vision forward? We have to be forward thinking. Otherwise, it's going to always stay the same. What is that saying? Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Have you heard that saying? That's what we have to have, that mindset. Good, better, best. You got three choices. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. We want to move to the best. And so we encourage you, even as you embark upon this journey. I want to say that you're embarking upon a journey. This is offensive and defensive moves so that you can play to win. We're talking about things that you can put into place so you can win in every space of your life. Oh, yes. Put into place so you can win in every space of your life. And so when you are challenged, that means you have to move the needle. You have to be willing to change. Listen, if somebody tell you don't change, stay the same way, then they are not about your improvement. They're not willing to invest in you moving forward. And so you want to make sure that you are investing in you. If nobody else pushes you forward, push yourself. Encourage yourself in whatever you're doing and tell yourself you're going to make it. And so we want to encourage you today, even as we come to a close of today's session, Money Monday, while we are talking about during your lunchtime learning, playing to win, offensive and defensive moves. How do I play to make some money moves that's going to make me win? Even in my home, even if you haven't started the business yet, these are still key tactics that you can take for mindset to get you ready to set the stage for your lunch. Some of us are in hibernation. The Lord gave me that ministry yesterday. You're in hibernation to sprout. Yes, you are. Use your hibernation wisely so that when you sprout, you have enough strength to come to full bloom. You have enough energy. You have enough strength. You have enough wisdom. You have enough understanding. You have enough discernment. You have enough clarity so that when you sprout, you know which way you're going. So that when you move forward in your next, hallelujah, you'll be able to be established and settled so that you can make it. And so we want to encourage you today that you do not grow by chance. You grow by choice. Oh, Lord, you got to put that in the chat. You do not grow by chance. You grow by choice. Yes, you have to make choices. And based on your choices, that's how you play to win. We're talking about making good choices, making wise choices, making data-driven choices, making healthy choices for you to win in every space of your life. You're not just managing money, you're multiplying movement. Oh, yes, money is a seed. We are multiplying the movement of our money. You want to multiply it. And so you're not just managing, you're not just holding on to it. I want to let it go so that it multiplies. I want to do what is necessary that it come back to me 100-fold, even 1,000-fold return. And so whether you are leading in business or ministry, your voice, your vision, your values, they do matter. How you operate, it matters. Listen, you borrow your title. Title changes. Whether you're the owner, you're the CEO, the CIO, the CFO, those things change. But your character will remain. It is who you are. So don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to shift. You want to make sure that you are looking at it from the offensive and defensive so that you don't just do it, but you're doing it with purpose, you're doing it with discipline, and you have measurable momentum. I'm moving it forward. So again, let's just recap real quick. Defend your base. Offend with bold offers. You want to get ready to go out and thrive. You want to thrive through strategic experiments. You want to pilot and then move it to production. And then you want to make sure that you pivot where there is trends that demand it. You want to make sure you pivot when there's a trend that demands, when things are shifting and changing. You've got to be able to shift. You don't want to stay too long when things are going to rise, because you have an opportunity. There's a period of opportunity to improve. And if you miss that by delaying, you can miss turning the ship so that you won't miss your sailing point, so that you won't fail, so that you won't lose. You can significantly minimize impact when you make corrective measures quickly. And so we want to encourage you again to make sure that you are staying with us, going along for the journey in this 6-week series. Next week, we'll be on week number 4. But we are encouraging to join us every Monday from 12 noon until 12:30 on Money Monday for your lunchtime learning. I'm Executive Pastor Tawana Grant. I am happy to have you with us. Please continue to go to the Juice Radio and Talk Show to subscribe and like and share. Peace and blessings to you on today.